Hey guys, how you doing? I'm an American sitting in Moscow, Russia, and I've heard, as you probably have, Donald J. Trump has had a second assassination attempt. In case you don't know the details, they're constantly changing, but so far what it is now is he was playing golf, and Secret Service, they scout ahead a couple holes ahead, and they saw a gun sticking through a chain link fence. And it's not clear whether or not the shooter fired at Secret Service at this point in time. It sounds like they exchanged fire, or perhaps only the Secret Service fired at the guy, and the guy ran. He had a GoPro set up, you can assume, to film what he was going to do. He had some backpacks there. He left it all behind. He jumped in his car. He took off. This is in Florida. Someone took a picture of his license plate, and the police picked him up. I think they've already passed him off to the FBI. So now some people are paranoid that, you know, we're not going to get answers to this, even though he's alive, which is good news as far as getting more information. People don't trust the FBI at this point, obviously, because of everything that's been going on. I think it's crazy. It's insane. And I think that it is another reminder that we are all living on the edge, that I think this world is on the brink of annihilation. It is a potentially hopeful, optimistic time, but it's a scary time as well. And like I said at the beginning, in case you don't know, I am an American who lives in Moscow. So I'm watching the presidential election from a different angle. I'm watching it closely. I'm also very concerned about, of course, the conflict between Russia and the neighboring country. Apparently, this guy who they just picked up, he was recruiting people to serve in that country against Russia, if you know what I mean. I have to be careful with my words to the algorithm here. But as I said in a previous video, I think it's not about Republican and Democrat anymore. It's about warmongers and people who are not warmongers. And that's why you have people like RFK and Tulsi Gabbard, who were Democrats, joining Donald Trump. And then you have people like Dick Cheney, who is a Republican, joining Kamala Harris. So I think these next 2 months are a very particularly dangerous time for us going to World War III, for something even worse than that happening. I think you know what I mean, as far as, I don't want to say certain words to the algorithms, certain weapons that are very, very large, that would annihilate the world, or could annihilate the world. I think that if the Kamala Biden team, that side of DC, if they were just in charge and they knew they would stay in charge, it would probably be safer than it is right now, because you would have just the war machine continuing, and they would continue to profit off of this. I think that if Trump is in charge, he said so many times he wants to end the conflict, I think that would be a much better time, because as a Christian, that would mean less lives lost. But because there's an election coming up in less than 2 months, you know, supposedly a winner will be decided, it makes it a very, very dangerous time. I think now is the time to pray. If you're a religious person, I think now is the time to do whatever you legally can do in the world, no matter how big or small, to influence the situation in a positive way, so that we do not annihilate ourselves. You know, I hope that people are very careful in keeping Trump safe. I hope the election is fair. I hope that DC, or whatever evil shadows of power there might be in the world, doesn't do anything crazier to try to set things off in a worse way for this conflict between Russia and the neighboring country, because I don't want all this loss of life. On top of that, I live in Russia. I live in Moscow. And just the other day, a drone hit an apartment building and, you know, destroyed the side of it, damaging actual apartments. I'm not sure if there's any loss of life there. But I live in Moscow with 5 kids. I live in an apartment. So it's a tense time. I think it would be better for Trump to win, and I just hope the world holds it together for this time. That's really all I have to say. Who am I? What do I know? But it just happened. It was on my heart to say something, and I thought that maybe some of my subscribers might want to know what I think. Yeah, I guess that's it. So stay safe, guys, and I'll hopefully have a video out this weekend. And another thing that makes it even scarier to me is, how did this guy get there? I don't want to be paranoid, but just think about wherever you live, whatever country you live in, and you're a world leader. When do you ever see that person? And would you ever expect that if you wanted to just go see, just for fun, that you could go see this person? I mean, if you ever did see them, it would probably be by accident, right? And there'd be a crowd and people would be like, oh my gosh. You'd be like, who is that? And they'd say, oh, so-and-so's giving a speech. And if you fought your way through the crowd, you might get the chance to see their part of their body from very, very far away, surrounded by people. I mean, how did this guy get there? I mean, that would take a lot of work to figure out where to be at the right place and the right time, especially all on your own. If you're just some guy, which is what it appears to be, that he is just some guy. And like a failed business owner or something like that. He's 58, I think. So that is scary to me because, I mean, it looks like, he had to have had help. And this is the second time this has happened, And, the world never got answers on JFK and RFK. So it's just like, what is going on here? Who are the good guys? Who are the bad guys? And if you don't know who I am, I live here with my Russian wife in Moscow, and we have an English-speaking channel in which we tell the world that Russia is a normal place in English, and we show as much of Russia as we can, a lot in Moscow and a lot in other cities as well, hoping that the rest of the world will see that Russia is a normal place, and hoping that from that we might be able to do our part to create world peace, as silly as that might sound.